The Puppy and the Tiny Ant. On a quiet summer morning, a little puppy named Max wandered through a big green park. He was hungry, tired, and all alone. As Max searched for food, he noticed something tiny moving near a tree root. It was a little ant carrying a piece of bread almost twice its size. Max watched curiously. Suddenly, a strong wind blew the bread away. The tiny ant chased after it, but the bread rolled toward a deep hole. Max quickly ran over and blocked the bread with his paw. The ant looked up at Max and seemed to say, "Thank you." Max wagged his tail. From that moment, the puppy and the tiny ant became unlikely friends. But neither of them knew that their friendship would soon be tested by a dangerous storm, and Max would need his tiny friend more than ever. The storm. That evening, dark clouds covered the sky. Max was sleeping under a small tree when suddenly, boom! Thunder shook the entire park. Rain began pouring down. Max tried to find shelter, but the ground quickly turned into a muddy river. Then he heard a tiny voice. The little ant was trapped inside a small crack in the ground. Max immediately started digging with his paws. He dug faster and faster as the rain continued falling. Finally, he opened a path. The ant escaped just before the water rushed into the crack. But then the ant noticed something terrible. Max was being carried toward the river by the flood. The tiny ant rushed back to its colony. Hundreds of ants followed. Together, they built a huge bridge from sticks, leaves, and dirt. Max grabbed onto it and pulled himself to safety. The puppy was saved by the tiniest friends he had ever known. But the storm wasn't over yet. A forever friendship. The rain finally stopped. The next morning, sunlight filled the park. Max was safe, but he was still weak and hungry. Then something amazing happened. Hundreds of tiny ants appeared carrying crumbs, fruit, and pieces of food. Hundreds of tiny ants appeared carrying crumbs, fruit, and pieces of food. They placed everything beside Max. Max looked at them with tears in his eyes. He finally understood something important. You don't have to be big to make a big difference. Max stayed beside the ant colony for days. He protected them from birds, shared his food, and never forgot how they had saved him. One morning, Max found a family walking through the park. They saw the lonely puppy and decided to take him home. Before leaving, Max turned around and looked at his tiny friend. The ant climbed onto his paw. Max gently wagged his tail. They were completely different. One was big, one was tiny. But their friendship proved that the biggest hearts can sometimes belong to the smallest creatures. And from that day on, Max always remembered his little ant friend.